Today's segment of Oh Brother is sponsored by Seco Performance Centers, providing performance car parts across all of Alabama and the Florida Panhandle. Visit them on the web at secoperformance.com. That's SECO Performance.com.
So southern, they'll get up for you for nothing.
And the week rolls on here from the Brandon Brown and the Country Western Delight Studios. I'm Will Lochamy, along with Reed Lochamy. You're listening to Oh Brother. The podcast you can find at iTunes or at ohbrotherradio.com and on YouTube. They're not always right on that day, but you can, if you like an episode, you can go back and listen to it on YouTube, and there'll be pictures of what we're talking about.
Yeah, well, you make these videos on YouTube. They're pretty good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
They're really good, huh?
No, they're very good. Yeah, really good.
Very, really. Okay,
Yeah,
I like these.
Yeah.
Extremely
good.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Reed,
Hey,
for saying all
listen,
that.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Will, it is Tuesday, or as I like to call it, Tuesday. And we have, every week here on Oh Brother on Tuesday we do something different. Except for we have some things that are kind of like recurring things that we do on Tuesdays, and this is one of my favorite. It is a segment we like to call, I'm sorry, what?
Huh?
Yeah. And this is where we find something, or I've come across something that really begs the question, I'm sorry, what? And so we're going to discuss it.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say I have no idea what we're going to discuss
We have
today,
not talked about this at all.
but I do know what we're going to discuss tomorrow for the show and tell.
Oh, boy.
And I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
I'm
tomorrow-
already. I just happened to look at my sheet here of what
Yeah,
we're going to be talking
yeah.
tomorrow. You don't want to miss that.
In
Anyway,
case- yeah.
on to today.
Okay, all right. So, Will, here's what I'm going to do. I have recently ran across a story. I'm sure people have probably heard about this. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I'm curious to know if you have, Will. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the first part of the story, and then we're just going to discuss it.
Okay?
Okay. Here's the headline. Are you ready?
Sure.
Interracial couple denied
I already had what? I'm sorry, what?
Interracial couple? Where's my spaceship?
Where's my spaceship?
No. A lady doctor. All right.
All right, sorry. Continue.
A headline is interracial couple denied marriage license in Louisiana. Have you heard about this?
It seems like I have just heard that headline.
Just came up.
I definitely don't know anything about it.
Okay. Listen to this. I'm going to read the first part of the story. Here we go.
Surely there are good reasons other than just okay.
Shirley? Really?
Surely.
Here we go. It says here, a Louisiana justice of the peace said he refused to issue a marriage license to an interracial couple out of concern for any children the couple might have. Keith Bardwell, justice of the peace in some parish that I'm not even going to try to pronounce in Louisiana, Tangipahoa.
Tangipahoa Parish.
Tangipahoa.
Oh, I know where Tangipahoa is.
I don't know.
Down
what
near
that is.
Abbeville, right?
Parish.
Tangipahoa.
Here's one thing's wrong with Louisiana. No counties, just parishes.
Parishes.
It's ridiculous. All right, so Keith Bardwell, who's a justice of the peace in this parish in Louisiana, quote, says it is his experience that most interracial marriages do not last long. Now, let me just go ahead and read this, and we'll come back and talk about these things. Quote, he says, I'm not a racist. I just don't believe in mixing the races that way. Bardwell told the Associated Press on Thursday, quote, I have piles and piles of black friends. They come to my house. I marry them. They use my They use my bathroom. I'm just reading this.
Well, he lets them use his bathroom?
Listen,
Clearly not
We'll come back and talk about it. They use my bathroom. I treat them just like everyone else. Bardwell said he asks everyone who calls about marriage if they are a mixed-race couple. If they are, he does not marry them, he said. Bardwell said he has discussed the topic with blacks and whites, along with witnessing some interracial marriages. He came to the conclusion that most of black society does not readily accept offspring of such relationships, and neither does white society, he said. There is a problem with both groups accepting a child from such a marriage, Bardwell said. I think those children suffer, and I won't help put them through it. The article goes on to say, if he did an interracial marriage for one couple, he must do the same for all, he said. I try to treat everyone equally, Bardwell said. Bardwell estimates that he has refused to marry about 4 couples during his career, all in the past 2.5 years.
So I wonder, well, first of all, he doesn't sound racist to me at all.
No,
No.
not at all.
But I wonder, since he's not racist, what is it about the interracial couples that he thinks makes them set up for failure?
Here are a couple things. Number one, it says here in the article, like I read earlier, that according to his experience, most interracial marriages do not last long. Well, hey, newsflash, most marriages don't last long. I mean, have you seen the statistics on this? Like 50%.
50%.
Yeah, so I mean, half of marriages don't last long. I don't know what it is that he thinks that makes these interracial marriages so special.
And he's got piles.
Okay, thank you.
Piles.
This is my next favorite thing. Yeah, he says, I'm not a racist. And then, of course, the next thing most people will say is, I have lots of black friends, right?
Sure.
Are some of my best friends are black?
Sure.
That thing. But for him to use these words, piles and piles of black friends, that makes it sound like piles and piles of dead bodies.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's got a lot of black friends piled up in his
up
backyard.
in the back.
After he let them use his bathroom.
That's the next
he just
thing.
piles them up in the back.
What is this about? I marry them, and then they use my bathroom. What is that? I mean, that shows you this guy's a racist right here. If this is what he's straining for as evidence that he's not a racist, that he would let a black person use his bathroom. I think not only is he a racist, but maybe he has some other deep-seated,
How's he getting away with
psychological issues.
How's he getting away with
letting black people use his bathroom?
Not marrying people on
he's not.
the basis of race. Okay.
That's the thing. The ACLU and other groups are going to say, and I know that some people, which baffles me, how people get to where they hate the ACLU.
We'll get into that one day.
Well,
Reed.
we will, but I'm bothered. Well, listen, the ACLU is a good thing, Will, and it is.
I'm not sure that. Yeah, their intentions sometimes, most of the time, are good things.
When is
their
the
actions a lot of times? I'm not getting into it right now. We don't have time. We don't have time. Continue with what you're doing.
We'll talk about that.
Continue on.
Groups like the ACLU, people who help defend our civil liberties, which is important.
Always have everyone's best interest in mind.
That's right.
Yeah.
They have our civil liberties and whatever.
Clearly.
Anyway, the point is this: they're going to, they're talking about legal action, making sure that this person is sanctioned. Because, I mean, here's the deal, is that this is just like, it's similar to that whole case with pharmacists who wouldn't prescribe, like, the morning after pill or whatever.
Right.
And this, of course, is a little bit worse than that. Because if you're a pharmacist, that's one thing, you're a private citizen. But you're talking about someone who has been given a governmental duty.
Right.
This person can't be, picking and choosing who he allows to give. This is crazy.
Yeah, totally nuts.
Also, I wanted to mention
it's not like... I mean, these people are just white and black. It's not like they're both males. Something crazy
something
like that.
ridiculous.
Just something so absurd.
Those two males
two homos trying to get married.
That would be totally gay. Yeah, that would be ridiculous. Anyway, so that does of course beg this other interesting question about, because one of the people was quoted here saying something that says here, okay, Katie Schwartzman, right, who is a member of the American Civil Liberties Union of Louisiana, she's an attorney there, said that the Supreme Court ruled in 1967, quote, that the government cannot tell people who they can and cannot marry. And, of course, here she's talking about when it comes to racial. But it does, that when I read that, I thought, oh, that's funny, because certainly the government does tell homosexual people they cannot... dirty homos that they cannot get married. So anyway, this is an interesting issue, but can you believe, it reminds me, here in the fine state of Alabama, which I love and is a great state, and a lot of people give it a hard time, but we both were raised here, Will, and I think it's a great state in a lot of ways. But several years ago, like within the last 10 years, there was a school in Alabama, a high school, that was shut down for failure to comply.